A Six on Your Side investigation into an Omaha funeral home that held onto cremated remains for months. Our Mike McKnight's report led the state to investigate Kramer Mortuary in Benson. And now the owners of the business, Travis Sheffields, has had his license revoked. Investigators found a number of violations, including not keeping adequate records and unprofessional conduct. When McKnight reported on the business in March, he helped a number of families get ashes that they said they'd been waiting for months. When a bank took control of the funeral home, it discovered numerous more undelivered cremated remains that have since been turned over to the relatives. Mike reached out to Sheffields, but has not heard back. A woman